Welcome to another Milepost of the V-Twin Life. We talk motorcycles, powered by those V-Twins, why we enjoy it, what they mean to us, and just why we enjoy the open road. V-Twin Life is brought to you by crashinclothing.com, also known as Crash Inc. on the World Wide Web. Man, Brad is on a lot of stuff. You want to get some merchandise, you want to get parts, you want to upgrade stuff on your bike. He is a dealer for a lot of great companies, so check out crashinclothing.com and see what they got for you. Now, we got Wild Ass. You want to add some comfort to your ass? Man, Wild Ass has got you covered. They've got something you like. Use that promo code DWoods. Get yourself free shipping and put that ass in comfort. Can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the world in LED lighting and LED technology. Man, these got some great stuff. You want to light up your life at nighttime? You want to be seen during the day? Hey, check out Custom Dynamics. Can't forget Lexan. These guys got some great comm units. I just got the new G16s. Man, you want to talk quality? These things are awesome. Loudspeakers, plus they got some air pumps, small ones you keep in your bike. They're ready to go. So check out Lexan. So now, let's get to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. Okay, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday at the V-Twin Life. Tonight we are knocking down milepost 128. We got Joseph Dubois. He owns Freeom Biker Tours, better known as JD. That's what everybody calls him. And he got a pretty cool thing going on that he started. So we'll get into that here as we get down the road. But we're kind of going to fire off like we always like to, and say, hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Appreciate it, Denver. Thanks for the opportunity, brother.
Heck yeah, man. So how did you get into motorcycles? Where did it come into life for you?
Oh, man. Well, I was a teenager, dirt biking, riding, bikes, back in the late 70s. I hate dating myself, but there you have it. And I got my first street bike when I was, I think, 20, something like that. And just, rode for years and years and years. I've always been a bit of an adrenaline junkie, the skydiving, the parasailing, the paragliding, all that kind of stuff. And motorcycles really, really filled that need, shall I say.
Oh, yes.
Of course, when I got married and was raising some kids and stuff, my wife wasn't into motorcycling, so I got told I couldn't do it. So I stopped for a little while, but then about 2 decades ago, when I moved up to the Okanagan here and bought my campground and opened my little consulting business and that for tourism, I got back into it and became a hog member with the local chapter, and the rest is history.
Right on. So what's I've seen stuff, been checking your stuff out, but what are you riding right now? Let everybody know what you got.
Right now I got 2 Harleys. I've got a 2017 Softail Deluxe that I've customed to the nuts, with not only it's a 103, but it's got a stage 3 in it. It's got apes, straight pipes, fishtails, everything's quick release on it, custom paint job, paint job on the tank that matches my ink on the shoulder, and then a custom paint job on the aftermarket quick release fairing on the front that matches my ink down this arm here all the way down.
Nice.
And it's a nice bike, man. It's a nice bike. And then I've got for leading that's my personal bike. And then for Freeom Biker Tours, for guiding the Western tours, when I do tours in other countries or out in Eastern Canada, I rent a bike. I don't ship my bike out there or anything, but for our programs in Western Canada, I've got a 2018 Street Glide Special. And it was a custom built bike by a guy in Regina at the Harley dealership in Regina, Saskatchewan. And it's only got 18,000 kilometers on it when I bought it last year. And it's a 2018. And
Dang.
It's almost a CVO. He upgraded to a Boom2 harley-davidson sound system with an amp. It's got 6 speakers. You can hear me coming from a mile away. And he's got some ape hangers on it and LED lighting all the way around, some special lighting on the batwing fairing on the front, and several other things that he's really done to it, including a really cool metallic black paint job with metallic sparkles in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the everything's blacked out. So that's why one of the reasons why I really liked it, besides it's just the kind of bike I've always wanted for touring, is that it's totally different than my Softail. My Softail is all chromed out, whereas this one, everything's blacked out, right? So I actually said to my fiance when we were down in Mexico riding a tour down there last fall, I said, you can name him. What do you want to name him? So she speaks fluent Spanish. So she named him La Bestia Negra, which means the Black Beast.
There you go.
Yeah.
So how did that, I mean, we talk, you kind of, I guess we can kind of get into your background and then dive into how that kind of got you into Freeom Biker Tours.
My background. Well, I've been in the hospitality, travel, tourism industry my entire life. I worked as a waiter and a bartender for years when I went through college the first time when I was in my late teens and early 20s. And then I got into the airline business. I worked for a small airline out of Vancouver in reservations, customer service, that kind of stuff. And then I became the manager of the department. And then I was an air traffic control assistant for a while, very short time, just a couple of years. Found the job kind of boring, actually. And then when a company called Ward Air was hiring, they were a big Canadian charter airline. And I joined them as an in-flight service manager. So you're like the head flight attendant on the 747s and the DC-10s back in the day. And then after they got sold and went out of business, I got into the tour operator side of the business again and worked for a couple different companies in sales and marketing and operations, and just sort of morphed into that. And then after that, I got into the hotel and resort side of the business and have done sales and marketing and that in different hotels and resort companies and around Western Canada. And then after that, as I got older, I lost my job at a hotel chain in Vancouver, and for a variety of different reasons, new president, cleaning house, a lot of people got laid off, that kind of stuff. Big severance packages, all that junk. We moved up to the Okanagan here and bought an old dilapidated rundown campground and RV park right beside the beach. Did the old, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to run a campground. No, it wasn't cool. It was damn hard work, man. Let me tell you. But it was good, and it paid off eventually down the road. But at the same time, I pooled all of my experience from all those other facets of the travel and tourism industry I'd worked in, and I started my own little consulting firm, tourism consulting. And at its heyday, I had 15 hotels and resorts in my portfolio, doing various levels of sales and marketing for them and consulting for them and things like that. Mostly non-branded, independently owned properties. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it went. And 25 years ago or so, I did my second post-secondary educational accreditation, and I got what was called an advanced certificate or undergraduate advanced certificate in tourism studies, something like that. It's on the wall here somewhere. And then 9 years ago, I took it upon myself to do a graduate degree, a master's degree in tourism management, and that's the thing right there. My diploma, my degree, and it was funny on the first residency. It was at Royal Roads University outside of Victoria on Vancouver Island, and the first residency. They were sitting around. They were out. The professors were outlining the program, and there's 10 modules of the program, and then the last module was you had to do a research project, a major paper, like a thesis, right? And you had like a year to do it. And they were saying, has anybody got any ideas of, what topic that you want to do for it? I went, I do. Yep, I do. So, and one of the professors, he rides too. He rides motorcycles. So I said, I want to study motorcycle tourism and biker culture. And he went, that is the coolest thing, man. Nobody's ever done that. Right. So I wrote that paper 3 years later or 2.5 years later, did a lot of research, went to Sturgis for the 75th anniversary, did some of the local hog rallies up here in Canada, wrote the paper, got an A on it. And
very nice.
Yeah. Through that research, I realized a great many things, but two really big things. One is that nobody was promoting Canada as an international motorcycle touring destination. Nobody, especially not a Canadian owned and operated company. Nobody was doing it. And the second thing is, I finally connected the dots and realized why I was so happy as a hog member and in the biker culture and the biker community. I realized because those old school values of freedom, brotherhood, sisterhood, authenticity, acceptance, all those values resonated really, really deeply to me. But I also noticed that they were being forgotten. They were being lost on many
Yeah.
levels. So I saw an opportunity to not only promote Canada, but to revive those old school values as well. So Freeom Biker Tours corporate values are freedom, authenticity, acceptance, and brotherhood. That's how it all started. And then, of course, COVID hit and gave me time to refine the brand a little bit and, things like that. And then we launched a couple of years ago and we're off and running.
That's pretty cool because, I mean, Eagle Rider, I know you can like rent bikes, but the only tour-based company that I can ever think of was it Edelweiss? And I think I only saw tours they would do like in Europe.
Yep. I know Edelweiss. And Eagle Rider started in the early 90s, 92 or something like that, as a rental company. And then over time they branched out into tours. Our goal at Freeom Biker Tours, or my goal, it's not to compete with the likes of Eagle Rider. I mean, they're huge, right? And I actually, in Canada, they used to have several rental outlets years ago. They only have one left. They've closed them all. The only one left is in Vancouver. And, I use them for a tour that starts and ends in Vancouver because they're the only option down there, right? But,
well, I mean,
go ahead.
It's kind of where I was getting. I mean, is you found a niche, within the community in this market where there wasn't anything. You're basically getting into something where there's not much competition because you're starting something that hasn't been there. So I mean,
yeah, you're right. There is competition, but it's hard to explain. There's a couple of other little companies up here in Western Canada that try and do motorcycle tours and that, but their philosophy is different than mine, and they don't have the same experience that I have. And I'm not going to name any names, but they just don't have the 40 years of experience in all facets of the tourism industry that I have, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have the education that I have either. So I believe that helps me to a large extent. But also, my brand is different than theirs, and the different aspects of my brand are different. Like, I believe in complete transparency of what we offer, what our products are. If you go online and look at my website, everything's there. I don't hide it. There's no hidden costs. There's nothing like that. We include, for the accommodation part of our tour, we include the taxes on the hotels. For any food and beverage, any meals that are included, we include the taxes and the gratuities on those meals. The fuel and the motorcycles included. I mean, the attractions, the excursions, the ferries, all that's included, and any taxes related are included. So, I have some people looking at my pricing going, oh my God, that's so expensive. But then when you actually break it down and you look at what's included, it's not. Because anybody like myself, if I wanted to take off and do that same tour, maybe I wouldn't stay in 3.5 or 4-star hotels like we stay in. Maybe I'd stay in little 2-star motels or something. But really, you're going to spend the same amount of money. And you're going to have the issues with navigation, finding your routing, all that kind of stuff. Whereas,
whoa,
that me?
I'm not sure. I got really a lot of feedback from it, but now it seems happy.
Well, you're gonna, one of the big benefits of riding in a group is, especially for people that have never ridden in that region before, is they don't know the roads, right? And they don't know where they're going. Whereas we do. That's what part of what they're paying for. But also they can put their phone away and any maps, and they can just take in the scenery. We last year on our Rockies and Best of BC tour, that was one of the biggest comments that we had was, I got to really enjoy the scenery and the bike and the roads because I didn't have to worry about where I was going. You got somebody out front leading the group, and you got a support vehicle in the back.
Yeah. How many usually go on? I mean, what's the size generally?
Size of the groups?
Yeah.
Well, that depends on the whether they're riding two up or single. I mean, on average, the most I'd want to take would be maybe 10 or 12 bikes, but that again would be determined on the number of two up riders. I mean, if there's 10 bikes and they're all riding two up, that's 20 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, kind of more or less what I was thinking. That just came out wrong was, how many bikes are generally in it? Because I know I just scrolled through again because I was looking at your, your West Coast tour, and dude, I mean, it's 11 days, but you really got some cool stuff, places you're taking people, and I mean, some days it's like, I noticed you even break down the miles. Hey, we're going to ride this many miles on day 2. We're doing 200. Day 3 is might be 150, but you're really showing them the sights and taking them places, and every day is, looked like it's packed full of, a lot of cool things to go see. You're really showcasing your area and what Vancouver has to offer.
Well, that's you've hit the nut right on the head of what our brand is all about. I was talking to a friend of mine in the industry last week, and she said, you're offering the same product that bus tours offer, but you're doing it on motorcycles. And that's exactly it. I've been in the bus tour industry for years with my hotel that I do sales and marketing for in the Rockies in the town of Banff. I've been there 15 years, and we handle a lot of motorcoach tours, a lot of bus tours from international companies and U.S. tour operators. And, that's exactly it. We're offering attractions and meals and similar itineraries to a certain extent. But of course, we do go on motorcycle roads. We don't take the main highways like the buses do. But it is, to a certain extent, the same kind of product. It's a full-on vacation package, but we're cage free.
Yeah, you're going to get more intimate, more personal with the trip, and I mean, the reason why we all ride, it's just there's no other way to travel.
We're cage free, man. Like we're gonna, you smell where you are, you feel the wind and the sun, you hear everything, you see everything. It's the same reason a dog sticks his head out the car window, man. Right?
Yeah,
that's one of the quotes I found when I was doing my research for my thesis. Was that came up, and a biker was asked, why do you ride? And he went, duh, it's the same reason a dog sticks his head out the car window, man. I thought that was an awesome quote. So
yeah. So which one's more popular, do you think, your East Coast tour or your West Coast when it comes for Canada wise?
Well, it's starting to shape up that our Ride the Rockies and BC program is maybe going to become our signature program. That one does, it's a third and a third and a third. It's the first few days are around the Rockies. Then the next few days are in the Okanagan Valley of BC, where I currently live. And then the last 3 days are in the Kootenay region of BC. And then we shoot back into Alberta and up to Calgary. I am putting together a new itinerary, though, for next year, because I'm connecting with inbound receptive tour operators in Canada that bring people in from overseas, right? Mm-hmm. And the definition of a receptive tour operator is pretty much they take Canadian tourism products, attractions, hotels, activities, and they package them up and they sell them overseas to other tour companies and travel agents that can't afford to come to Canada and do it themselves, right? So I'm connecting with, and I know those people for the last 30 years through my hotel business, right? So they're going to have Freeom Biker Tours in their portfolio, and then they're going to be marketing it overseas and bringing people from overseas to Canada. And one of the biggest and funniest things is a lot of people from overseas don't realize how big Canada is. and they're like, well, I want to do the Rockies and I want to do the coast. Well, like, that's a lot of ground you're covering, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it to them. So I put together a program, and I'm calling it Ride the Rockies to the Ocean. And the first 3 days are the exact same as our current Ride the Rockies and Best of BC tour, but then the rest of the time is a complete departure. We go all the way down to Whistler and Vancouver and loop around and up to Fraser Canyon and then into the Okanagan and around and through the Kootenays. And it's an entirely different route, and it's actually 13 days instead of 10 or 11. So it's a bit longer, a couple days longer.
I had a good friend. He did the Fraser River Canyon last year. You know, sent a bunch of pictures. Man, that looked just absolutely beautiful going up through the Fraser River Valley.
It is. That's the original. That's the Trans-Canada Highway. That was the original and one and only route to get out of BC back in the 70s and early 80s until they built the Coquihalla Highway.
It wasn't there. They had a TV show about a record company, I think, or something on Netflix that got big on towing up there.
Netflix.
It was a Netflix series. I'll have to read back. I can't remember.
Okay.
But I know it's funny. I mean, I've only been up to Vancouver Island, and that was, God, I haven't been there in years. And Vancouver one time, it's like it's right here for me. It'd be fun to go explore it, definitely. I know it's on my list of things I'd love to do and get up that way.
If you want to come up and do one of our tours, man, just give me a call. I'll give you a deal.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll help you out. We'll figure out something, because with you giving me this kind of coverage, I'm very grateful. So it's got to be a quid pro quo, brother. It's got to work both ways.
Well, and, that's the whole fun part of this is, getting in, involved with more people in the community that got different stuff going on and helping everybody. It's like, I was cool. I had a company reach out called Ride Sober. Said, hey, we've been following your podcast, so I'd love to do something to spread our word in our marketing about riding sober. Would it be possible to do an episode? I'm like, absolutely. That'd be super cool. It's all about, we all have different stuff going on, but the motorcycle community, I think as a whole, is like a small family, and, everybody's great. And that's been the best part of this is the people you get to meet, you help people get something going on. Hey, cool. Let's market promote what you got. And, we're all doing what we enjoy doing, but if you can lend a hand and just help and, do a little bit more, have that positive mental attitude. And like I said, so many times, the awesome part of doing this is the friendship I've made with every person I've ever had on. And to me, that's the biggest reward. I mean, I don't make money at this. This isn't a job. This is something I do because I enjoy it. It's fun. I enjoy hearing the stories of people and places they've been, or, sharing adventures. And we all have that passion that we share. It's like, it's so much fun.
Can't argue with you at all. It is fun. I've met the most amazing people in my life in the last 20 years, since I got involved with Hog and started thinking about Freeom Biker Tours and all that. And especially in the last 4 or 5 years since I've been developing the brand and doing a lot of R&D, research and development. And that's the coolest thing about having a company that's a motorcycle tour company is you can write everything off for research and development.
There you go. Actually, Rob Truscott, Highway Through Hell. That was that series.
Okay. Well, Rob's my guide in the Maritimes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's an ex-Canadian Air Force helicopter navigator, and he helped us put the itinerary together out there. And it's a bucket list. It's a bucket list trip. And the cool thing is, Freeom Biker Tours is the only tour company offering a motorcycle tour in the Maritimes, the Canadian Maritimes. Nobody else is. Guaranteed. Nobody else is. Yeah. So.
And this is something you don't hear about, even, down in the States. I can't think of a lot of companies that I've heard of. I mean, I read a lot of different publications and always looking up stuff online, YouTube. It's like I can't recall seeing other companies that do what you're doing down here.
Well, Eagle Rider, of course, is the biggest. There are others. I know a couple that I've talked to in that. But yeah, I mean, it is a real niche market operation, and there aren't a lot of rental companies. Mostly the biggest one in the U.S. is Eagle Rider, right?
Yeah.
And Eagle Rider is a big company, so it's I don't want this to come across as negative, but it's pretty much their way or the highway kind of thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you find that in the business world anywhere you go with big companies that have been around for 30 plus years, right? It is what it is. The nice thing about my rental partners in Canada is they're a lot more flexible, and the way they package up and provide their pricing and their packages with insurances and everything, it's all included. So they make it really easy to package it up, right, and offer it as one price. We have pricing that includes a rental Harley, or we have pricing that if you want to ride your own motorcycle, either one's fine, right? And if you want to ride your own motorcycle, we don't care what make or model it is. We don't discriminate. I've had a few people ask, well, looks like you just do Harleys. Well, for rentals, yes. But if you're not renting, and we got a guy came up last year, trailered his bike up from Minnesota, and a lady from BC that rode with us and on her own bike. So if you want to ride your own, it's definitely the more affordable way to go, right?
Yeah.
You're not paying for a rental. But if you're coming from overseas or you're flying in from a long distance, it makes more sense to rent than it does to try and get your bike up here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, shipping ain't cheap. And then all the hassle. Then of course, customs because another country and
Harley Fat Boy, as long as it's not an Indian.
yeah, that's some funny shit. Yeah, he's down Harley Fat Boy. He's out of Oregon.
Oh yeah, cool.
So you got plans for expanding? No, you said you have some that you go international to other countries.
Yeah.
How's that marketing and how's that working? Where are you at with those?
Well, I have an affiliate in Mexico, in Cancun, Cozumel, and he's an American fellow from Pennsylvania. And on the island of Cozumel, they have a scooter tour and rental business on the island of Cozumel. And he decided last year, or probably 2 years ago now, I guess, that he wanted to do a Harley tour, a week-long tour of the Yucatan. So he calls it Ride the Yucatan Peninsula. So that's actually what my fiance and I were down last November. We went down and rode it and did a bunch of promotional videos and, helped him with some advice on how to tweak it and market it a little bit better. And I'm his exclusive distributor in Canada. Any Canadians that want to do that tour, book through Freeom Biker Tours. And that's pretty cool. That's a really, really, it's a lot of fun riding a Harley around Mexico, man. Let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. He's got his own fleet of Harleys. He's got 8 of them. And,
nice.
It's a really, really nice package. And we're actually putting together, well, it's actually finished. We just haven't started marketing it yet. But the end of next October this year, I think we start on the 26th of October. We're doing a 2-week vacation package down there, and there's limited availability because of the number of bikes he has. But the first week is the Ride the Yucatan tour. The second week is a week's stay on the island of Cozumel. And the first 2 days we're there is the Day of the Dead Festival, which is a really cool festival down there.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. And then we're including a scooter tour on the first day. And then for the next 6 days, every couple gets their own scooter. It's included. And so you have a scooter to rip around the island on. And it's a really nice hotel that we're staying at. And it's right, breakfast is included. And there's going to be a couple of excursions, like choice of snorkeling or diving or ATVing or whatever is going to be included, that kind of thing, and then some time on Cozumel, and it's all packaged up as a 2-week vacation package.
Oh, nice, convenient.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to help him, market the actual tour part of it, right? And because it's at the beginning of the season, because end of October, early November is the beginning of the season down there, really the peak season. I want to. We're able to get a little bit better pricing, so we're able to offer a pretty good deal, right? So, and because it's limited, it's a couples only program, and only 5 couples can come on it because of the limitations he has on his fleet of motorcycles, right? So,
okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then who's my other affiliate? Oh yeah. Sorry, Dave. It's Ride the World Motorcycle Tours in Australia is my other affiliate. And they typically send people from Australia up to Canada or the US or Southeast Asia to do tours. But now we are in the final stages of developing a 15-day itinerary called Ride Australia's Southeast. Starts and ends in Sydney. And that is going to go 1 year from now. It'll start in the 3rd week of March and overlap into the 1st week of April 2025.
Now that'd be fun.
Yeah, that is the coolest. It includes, I'm gonna get a bit of a teaser here, but it includes a helicopter ride, man.
It'd be fun. I mean, I think the biggest thing that for us up here would be the shock of, okay, cool, now you got right on the other side of the road, trying to get used to
that. On our live stream last night, talking about our Maritimes program, David is part of the panel on our live stream series that we're doing right now. And so we were teasing him about that. I'm like, so what is the correct side of the road to drive on? He goes, well, the correct side is I forget, what did he say? He said something sarcastic about, well, it depends what country you're in. So it's, anyway, we tease each other about doing that. Right.
So your tour events that you do in Canada, so do you basically do 3 a year, because are you the one that's leading all these when it comes to, the BC, the Rocky Tour, and like the Nova Scotia area?
Well, because we're still a relatively new company, we're still building it up, right? And the brand awareness and the business. So don't want to bite off more than we can chew.
Really. Yeah, understand.
So in Western Canada, the answer is yes, I guide those ones. In the Maritimes, Rob does, but I go out and drive the support vehicle for the Maritimes one coming up this summer. I don't really want to hand over, my brand's reputation until I've done that program at least once to see if it needs any adjustments.
Yeah, because your name's on it, so
fine tuning. I want to make sure that if it needs any fine tuning, I'm there to experience it and then fine tune it, and then I'm more than happy to hand it off to guys like Rob and that who I trust, and my guy here in BC, Travis in Kamloops. He's the director of the Hog chapter there, and he's a big motorcyclist, and he's a drone operator, and we had a lot of fun with his drone last year, getting a lot of aerial footage of the tour and stuff. So eventually we will probably have upwards of maybe half a dozen programs operating every season in Canada. We've got an itinerary called Ride the Canadian Shield, which does Ontario and a little piece of Quebec. And, we're always open to other itineraries. I'm looking at a shorter 5 or 6 nighter in Alberta that takes in the Rockies, the Badlands, Waterton Lakes Park, and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's a shorter itinerary. So sky's the limit, really, as long as I have subcontractors, riders that I can trust and will operate the tour, and someone to drive the support vehicle. Then I don't need to, because I have other responsibilities with my hotel too, right? In Banff. So I can't do everything, unfortunately.
So, question on your support vehicle: are you taking an extra bike just in case, worst case scenario, one breaks and there's you have a second bike available to somebody if that happens, or?
No, with our rental partners in Canada, roadside assistance and all that kind of stuff is included, right? So we never leave a brother or sister stranded. So if there's a breakdown, if we can't fix it right there, if it's like a major problem, then we'll get it towed to the nearest community and figure it out from there. I have memberships in like BCAA and all that kind of stuff, where I get unlimited pickups and towings and things like that on an annual basis. And
Okay.
so do my other guides and all that too, through me. So that's how we cover that off. And knock wood, we've never had one yet. Breakdown.
Yeah, they're not fun, but no, yeah, I was just kind of curious. You're talking about the support vehicle following, whether that's just what all entails to that individual. I know, like, God, it was a few years back. My dad, he booked a trip to Sturgis, with one of the dealerships over in the Puget Sound, and the dealership, I mean, everybody's riding their own bikes, but they actually took an extra bike. So somebody broke down, they just put it in the trailer, they roll the extra bike out, that individual hops on that, and they keep going.
Yeah, I thought of that, but our support vehicle is a van, and it carries the luggage for everybody, because most people, they come from elsewhere and they want to have their luggage with them, but they don't want to throw it on their bike or anything. So there's got to be luggage space. We have a first aid kit. We have a cooler or two full of soft drinks, water, juice, that kind of stuff, energy bars, snacks. Some of the itineraries we do the odd picnic lunch where we stop and everybody makes ham sandwiches and chips, and we sit around by the river or by the lake and that kind of thing too. So that pretty much fills up the support vehicle with all that stuff.
Now somebody says you're kind of lying a little bit there, that you did have a breakdown last year. Come on,
that's my fiance. That's my fiance. She's sitting in the other room down the hallway here.
Oh, that's funny.
But she's right. We did. The fellow from Minnesota, his water pump went, and luckily we were stopped for lunch at this little biker-friendly pub in the North Okanagan, and we tinkered with it for a few minutes, and we got it to the point where he could ride it to Kelowna, and we took it into Kelowna Harley-Davidson, and they kept it overnight and fixed it the next morning, and then he just caught up with us. So
nice.
We coordinated the whole thing and made sure he was comfortable with it all and all that, and it worked out quite well. So sorry, Carmen.
Now I know, do you kind of try to ballpark your, mileage wise for what you're taking people on when it comes to, some of these events or your tours, or is it, you're going to go through an area where there's not a whole lot. So maybe one day you're going to, I think I remember seeing one like a 268 mile day. Then a lot of the stuff was, the mid 150-ish mile range. Do you try to, structure that?
Well, like I said earlier, there's some pretty vast distances up here in Canada. So, there's a few different components to that when you're putting an itinerary together. It's where do you want to stay for certain reasons, either nice hotels or great places to eat or fun activities to do. So you have to factor all that in. And then you look at, the mileage between that point and the next point. And are there any activities you want to do? Are there any ferries that you need to take? Are you crossing any bodies of water? Is there, like I said, is there an activity? Are you going to go up the gondola? Like between Whistler and Vancouver, you have the Sea to Sky gondola. That's going to take at least 2 hours out of your day right there, right, to do that. And then if you're going over to Vancouver Island, well, that's at least 3 hours. That's half your day right there, right, on the ferry, because the ferry's an hour and a half, and then you got to line up and wait, and then you got to load and offload and all that stuff, right? So you got to factor all those things in. So, and also the one thing too is this is not iron butt riding. I've had a few guys comment on social media, "Oh, I can do that itinerary in 2 days, man. That's kind of boring." And I'm like, well, you know what, brother? Then you're not the kind of clientele that we want on our tours. If that's the kind of riding you want to do, with all due respect, it's cool. Ride how you want to ride. But ours are vacation packages. It's not all about hopping on the bike, riding 1,000 kilometers, cracking a beer or two, having a burger, and going to bed and doing it again the next day. That's not what it's about. It's about enjoying the region that you're riding in, finding out about the culture, finding out about the cuisine, finding out about the attractions, looking at taking the photo ops, experiencing that region. That's what it's all about. So some days you're right. Some days are 150 miles because we're doing a lot of stuff that day. Other days are 400 miles because we're not doing as much and we got to make it to the next place, right? There's not a lot of those 400 kilometer, 450 kilometer or days. There's maybe 1 or 2 at the most on each itinerary, and that's it. The rest are average kilometers wise, 250 to 350 kilometers.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No. Safety is the biggest thing with us too, right? I mean, when you got a group of people that are all coming together and they're from different walks of life and they've got different backgrounds when it comes to riding, you can't be hop-assing along at 150 kilometers an hour, right? You got to do the speed limit or maybe just over it. And it takes the first couple of days to assess the group's abilities.
Well, and everybody has different riding styles. Like, your guys that want to push miles. Your Sunday strollers. Hey, it's a nice Saturday. Go out. Do a 200-mile day. I mean, everybody has different. We all ride differently. We all have ideas of what's a good day's ride, and
right.
To each their own.
Exactly. But when you're spending money to buy into a group tour vacation like ours, we set the pace. The group leaders set the pace, right?
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to say unfortunately, but it's a fact of life. The group is going to ride at the pace of the lowest common denominator, the least experienced rider, I guess you could say, or the person that is more comfortable riding right at the speed limit. Well, that's what you're going to do then, the whole group, right? But we don't see that as a negative. That's a positive because then it's more relaxing, it's safer, you get to take in the views, the scenery, more fun, right? And that's another, going back to your previous question, we've mapped out the mileage based on the speed limits as well, right? So that if we do end up going basically at the speed limit, our timing is still good.
Yeah. Because like earlier, beforehand, we were talking about, you wanted to do the Oregon coast, and basically saying the same things. And it's such a high tourist area that they do have low speed limits where you can't. It's going to be it's a slow ride. Much like you're going to probably getting through popular areas up through BC where it's we're going to use the American system 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour zones, and you're just not going to cover as much ground when you got low speeds you got to deal with.
Yeah, and also up here in some of the areas like the Kootenays, there's some stretches of road there, like Highway 31A. It's about 80 kilometers from New Denver to Caslow, and it is one of the top 10 motorcycling roads in the world. And it's twisty, and it's narrow, and you got a river on one side of you and a mountain on the other. So you're not doing that at 100 kilometers an hour. You're just not, right? So you got to factor that into it too. We do a lot of, the roads that we picked, most of them are really, really cool, twisty, turny motorcycling roads, right?
Hey, thanks, Rob. I like it. He's translating, from the Canadian system, the great system of America.
We were joking around the other day too that, in Canada here, we're bilingual when it comes to metric or imperial, right?
Yeah, it's comical.
Yeah.
They all got their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're obviously getting, geared up for your seasons, coming up here starting soon.
Yeah, June 22nd is the departure date for Ride the Rockies and Best of BC out of Calgary. So what is it? I've got to get rooming list into the hotels about 45 to 50 days prior. Good 6-7 weeks prior The hotels want to know how many rooms out of your block that you reserved that you're going to use. And, you know, the thing is you've got to give them that information, because if you don't, they cancel the whole thing on you. And then
Now, how far in advance are you booking rooms? Are you, I mean, blocking out, say, a year in advance to make sure you can get the rooms that you need? And then, you know, if you don't need, say you block 15 and say, okay, like you're saying, you know, 7 weeks out, hey, I'm only going to need 10.
Yeah. I'm right now in this last 10 days, I blocked all the rooms for the 2 Western tours for next year already.
Wow. Yeah, you really got to get in advance.
Well, that's normal. You know, typically in the group tour industry, bus tour industry, it's anywhere from 18 to 24 months in advance. For instance, for my hotel that I work for in the Canadian Rockies in Banff, I have been working on 2025 group requests since last summer.
Hey, thanks, Junior. Yeah, that's crazy. But I guess, I mean, especially, I mean, I guess I could see it in Banff because Banff is a very popular touristy place. I know it's on my bucket list, and
Yeah,
I was messing around on Google a while back. Like, dude, that's a 12-hour ride to get to Banff. You do that?
well, come and stay in the Okanagan. Well, I'm leaving the Okanagan later this year and moving to Alberta to be closer to Banff, because my hotel is undergoing a massive renovation project and rebranding starting this coming October. And I'm taking over more responsibility, and they want me closer. So I'm moving somewhere to that area so that I can be in Banff on a more regular basis. Right now, I'm a 6.5 to 7 hour drive away from Banff.
Oh, no, Rob, you're wrong. I do. That's plenty of time to enjoy it. Somebody just got to get there, but you know, it's one of the things. We all have our riding styles, and I don't know, sometimes you get those days I can get there and see stuff, and you know, for me, it's like I can, you know, lay down some miles, and I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
But you know, if I'm going, you know, two up with my wife, then you know, we're going to take a different pace. But you know, if it running solo, I'll get down with it and just have fun.
Your wife rides with you, or she ride her own too?
No, she rides on the back.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, actually, this year she did her longest ride, and we rode to Sturgis in August.
Nice.
So that, I mean, it was fun. We actually had a deal. We were working over there for Wild Ass, so we were there 8 days, and we took 2.5 days to get there, and then 2 days coming home.
I was there in 2022, so I was there not last summer, but the summer before. But I left a couple days early because my rim blew on my softail. I trailered down. My softail is not a touring model bike, even though I have a tour pack. Everything's quick release on it. I trailered down, and we rode around. But then the last 3 days before we were supposed to come back, I was coming back from down south, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell? I thought I had a flat tire, and I pulled over, and big, like someone had taken a knife and slashed about 6 inches of my rear rim.
Damn.
No idea how it happened. And of course, I searched like a madman the next day, driving around in my truck down there, trying to find another rim for a deluxe softail. Nothing. Everything was touring model. Nothing. I even went down to the Harley dealership down in the big city town there.
What, Sturgis or Rapid City?
Rapid City Harley down there.
And Black Hills Harley, exit 55.
Black Hills Harley, and they've got it all set up out there. They got tents galore and everything. It's
insane there during the rally.
But nobody could find me a rear rim for a softail. So.
Yeah, they're just, I mean, you see them around, but, you know, everything, I think the last few years, the craze has just gone towards, you know, the beggars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so Softail, so what, you got the spoked rim?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his name is Tasman, because he, like I said, my ink here, this is on the tank. It's I don't know if you can see it, but it's Tasman with a Canadian flag, cape and that. Yeah, can you see that? Sort of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's on the tank of my bike. And then this is my Taz Angel. He's got angel wings and Tasman and all that. And it's that's on the fairing of my bike. The fairing is it just mounts on it's an aftermarket fairing. It's a Hoppy fairing, company from Texas. and
Mm-hmm.
mounts on the window or the windshield mounts on the softail. And yeah, it's I forget where I was going with that.
Well, yeah, a guy in the side chat, Springer Mike, he just bought a bat wing that goes on the windshield mounts put on his Road King.
Yeah,
I can't remember the brand, but y'all, he loves it.
oh, it's easy to come on and off.
Yeah.
Just plugs in. The stereo is not the greatest, but it comes apart, and I can stick an amp in it, and I can stick a different system in it if I want. But now I got the Street Glide, so and it's got the Harley Boom 2 system, and man, whoa, it's got an amp in the back and everything, 6 speakers, and yeah, so I'm good.
I just put it all on my. I just have it on my helmet. I don't even use a stereo on my Road Glide anymore. I got my Lexa, and the quality is great. So it's like I can, listen to my music or podcast, and I got it on my helmet, and it works good for me.
Well, that's cool. I have a thing about wearing so I can't hear what's going on around me. Unfortunately, I've been in 2 motorcycle accidents in my life, and both of them were other people's faults. The last one I was in 2016 was a very serious accident, and freaked me out. So I don't like to have anything that's going to take away from my, hearing, seeing what's going on around me and all that. So having like earbuds or whatever in it's not my thing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't wear earbuds. I mean, all your new helmets now, you buy these comm systems, there's already cutouts, and the little speakers go actually in the side of the helmet. And, you can adjust the volume wherever you want, but you can still hear your surroundings really well.
can you? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
You wear a full face?
I wear a modular. Yeah.
Okay. I have a modular too, where this part comes off and that kind of thing, but I barely ever wear it. I've got one of those polo style, right? And I really like that.
I did the half helmets for a long time, but then getting more into the long distance riding, endurance riding, and whatnot. And I went to the modular, you get the whole flip up chin bar. And there's times like when I went down to California last summer, even going to Sturgis, it gets really warm. It's like, if I could just flip it up and wear it like a 3/4.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once I relocate and all that, I'm going to probably revisit my gear again. Helmets only good for, what do they say, 3-4 years?
Yeah, they got a shelf life, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. So it's probably next year is my time to get some new helmets, and of course Carmen will need some new ones at the same time. So I'll be dropping a few bucks on a couple helmets for each of us. So.
Yeah. Yeah, going to the full face, especially with the modding, if a guy likes riding, in the fall and, that cold time, it makes a big difference when, you keep your face warm and just more comfort, enjoying the road and enjoying the ride. And even though it might be a little chilly, you dress accordingly, layer up or heat a gear, whatever your system is. But when you keep your face warm too, man, it makes a big difference.
Well, Carmen's got a heated jacket liner that goes underneath and plugs in. I've got a heated vest and I've got heated grips on both my bikes. So, you need them and that. And then, of course, we've got the face things that, for when it's a little chillier and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a good point. Going with a modular may be the way to go. We got the Cardo Pack Talk Bold. I bought them a few years ago, systems, and that you can mount inside of full face, and then the thing sits on the side. But I also got the mounts that you can stick them on a half helmet, like a beanie style, and then the mic boom just comes down and sits right here.
Yeah,
and they're pretty cool. They work pretty good, except for you got to put earbuds in, right? In order to, it's kind of counterintuitive to what I was saying a few minutes ago, right? So I don't know. And then you hear the road noise and you're yelling at each other, what? And, you're right in front and behind each other. And you're like, what'd you say? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I never was real comfortable doing the earbuds. That's why I like, I've had great luck with Lex, and I've had a couple of their models and literally wore the old ones out. And the new ones, I think they're 52 millimeter speakers that go in the helmet, and they're good quality. I'm impressed with it. But I mean, everybody has a brand that they choose that works for them, and it's nice having everything, just right in your helmet. Voice free. For navigation, you need to go somewhere. Yell at your fucking phone through your helmet.
Look at Rob. My wife likes that she can't talk to me. And Carmen goes, "Love my heat."
Yeah.
That's why she likes to feel the sun on her face and that, right? So
Yeah, I haven't pulled the plug on heated gear yet. I don't want to age myself that much quite yet.
oh, that's what she's talking about. Right. The heated gear.
But no, I got some friends, good friend of mine, Frank Orlando. He just actually went to add it to his, heated gear arsenal's heated insoles in his boots. He says those are the best. He goes, I'd take those heated insoles over the heated socks any day. He goes, it's a total game changer.
Right on. They plug in?
Yeah.
Wow. I got a buddy that he's the ex-director of our local hog chapter here, Pete, and he had heated gloves and all the wiring coming in. And I looked at him one day and went, "Holy crap, man! It's like RoboCop or something, right? Like, what the hell?" I said, "Like, you put that on? How long does it take you to get dressed?" I said to him, right? So, he seems to like him. So
yeah, I know my dad had it because like my road glide, it's all wired for it. I got the little plug next to the seat, but I just haven't gone that far yet. One of these days, I might even just go with like the heated vest that goes underneath your jacket.
Well, that's what I have.
Just for the torso.
Yeah. And then my jackets, I can clamp around the wrists, and I've got the gaiters that come over top so the wind doesn't go up my sleeve. So, the heated vest. Besides, I don't ride in the middle of winter. So, I mean, guys, there was a bunch of people out yesterday and today because it's like 14, 15 degrees Celsius up here now, which is 60 Fahrenheit or so.
Yeah, that's how it was here today. That's why, we took off. I mean, I just had a sweatshirt on and my vest, and no, I was good.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, spring is on its way.
When got me 100 miles of wind therapy, it felt great.
I bet you after last night.
Yeah. Get in the wind and have a good time. We've had some amazing weather this weekend. It was just freaking great.
Cleared the cobwebs a little bit, I bet, hey?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I haven't hardly had the bike out in quite a while, so it was nice to get it out, get some fresh fuel through it, and just enjoy the road.
Yeah, throttle therapy. That's what I need. One of the quotes that I got when I was writing my master's thesis, throttle therapy is actually a real term, and we use it in our marketing, right? Because riding a motorcycle, it's been proven, it's been researched that it is actually therapeutic.
100%.
It is in of itself, it's a form of meditation, right? But in keeping with that, one of the quotes, one of the definitions I found during my research was throttle therapy is a term for time spent on a motorized bike with the intent to enjoy feelings of euphoria that may exceed the capabilities of prescription or illegal drugs.
Well, what's the old? I have the book in the house, The Zen Art of Motorcycles.
Yeah. The Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I also read the book by one of Sonny Barger's books when I was doing my research as well, right?
Oh, I mean, lived his life on two wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
For sure. Well, shoot, man. Thanks for, coming and hanging out and, explaining Freeom Biker Tours. It's cool to, what you got going on and, help spread the word and, hopefully it continues to grow and profit and watch you expand and grow more.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be on your podcast. And we definitely have to get together and ride sometime soon, whether I come down there or you come up here or
for sure.
We meet in the middle somewhere. We were hoping to get down to Sturgis next year for the 85th anniversary, but we're not going to make it because of tours and business and everything else. But I'm going to get down to Sturgis again soon. So maybe we could meet up there or whatever, but we'll stay in touch for sure. Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got my number, got yours, and plus all the social media links. But yeah, no, it's really cool. You got, it's neat to see other avenues of, what people can do with the passion of motorcycles.
I'll send you a friend request. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'll send you are we friends on Facebook already or not? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I'll have to look. We'll figure it out in a minute. So yeah, go ahead and hang out for a minute after we end this. But hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight and catching Milepost 128 with JD Dubois of Freeom Biker Tours. Next Sunday, 129, we got Don Schaefer, better known as Hyde. He is a boost fighter out of Texas he does a tremendous amount of riding, does a lot of stuff also, promotes within Mile Monsters, and is just an amazing guy and somebody who loves to ride and had the had the fortune to become pretty good friends with him. Got to meet up with him when I was down in Texas in January for the Goats tour, and no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So we will catch you guys next Sunday for 129 with Hyde. Till then, hey, ride safe, have fun, guys. Enjoy that open